Losing. Welcome to the Tuesday, February the 20th, 2024 meeting of the Montpelier Design Review Committee. We'll let staff and members introduce themselves.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Martha Smirsky, member.
William Russell, member.
Stephen Everett, member.
Rebecca Owens, member.
Is Eric there or?
He is. Eric, you need to unmute yourself.
Eric Gilbertson, member.
Okay, at this point, we'll let Meredith review the remote meeting procedures and process.
Okay. As most everybody is aware, this is mostly for people who are attending, watching via ORCA Media. For those viewing tonight's design review meeting via ORCA Media, you can participate in the discussion via the Zoom platform through either video or telephone access options. If you want the full video experience, you can type this link into your web browser and I will get a little notification that you want to get into the meeting. Alternatively, you can dial this telephone number and when prompted, put in this meeting ID. And again, I'll get a prompt to let you into the meeting. If anyone is trying to access the meeting and having problems, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. I will be monitoring my email throughout the meeting. For those attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. If anyone does get on partway through the meeting, if anybody's out watching via ORCA and wants to get on, when you get into the meeting, please make sure that your microphone is on mute when you're not speaking. This will help reduce background noise, and we'll make sure to check in with you and give you an opportunity to comment on the items on the design reviews agenda. A reminder that the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Otherwise, if somebody gets on and has a question about an item on the agenda, please raise your hand, either physically if you have the video turned on or by using the raise hand button on your toolbar. If anyone calls in, you can press *9 on your phone and this will let us all see a raise hand. In the event the public is unable to access tonight's meeting, and I would get notice of that through my email, the meeting will need to be continued to a time, place, and certain. I'll now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
At this point, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda. This is Martha.
Second,
All in favor of the agenda, speak your names.
Eric.
Martha.
William.
Rebecca.
Stephen.
Yep, that's everybody.
Okay, agenda is approved. Unless anybody has anything else to add at this point, we'll go forward with the first application for 27 East State Street. Welcome, Paul. Describe your application.
The application is a new front porch on 27 East State Street. The process is the same thing that I've done on the barbershop building, which is to adhere to the historical, norms. As I try to put it back with the same lumber in the same way that it was originally built. I talked to Jimmy's brother who had repaired the porch in 1971 and said it desperately needed repairing. And the bottom line was 30 years, the postman had put his foot through the decking at the top of the stairs. And the two uphill posts had completely rotted out because there's a river that comes out of the backyard when it rains. And during the flood, we lost that whole end of the porch and the roof was sagging. And it was just, I would have come over and gotten a building permit, but I kind of had to do it right away. So. It's 2x12. Skirt all the way around. It's 2x10s in the center. The only thing that's not from 1850 is the joist hangers. It is built up to code. It's got techno metal posts supporting the front beam across the front. And the only thing that I didn't do, the original historic posts, were set on the railing, and that's why the whole thing was falling down. So I opted for the square posts that come all the way up from the deck, to support the roof, and then I did the framing around those. The posts are not done. We ran out of warm weather. It is going to be painted to match the house, blue and white. The posts, I put a little schematic of what I'm gonna do with the posts. I can't make them round, but they are gonna get the original fleur-de-lis braces on the top. There's gonna be a crown molding element on the top, a baseboard on the bottom, and a chair rail, for lack of a better term, in the center. So the posts will be painted blue and white. The molding will get painted blue and the posts will be painted white, just like the old post. So it'll look, except for the squareness of it, it'll be exactly the way it was back together with the original fleur-de-lis. I'll get that done in the spring. And I really did try to do it historically. If you'll note, if you can see close on the thing, it's got a traditional hardwood drip edge made out of wood at the bottom of the shingles. I mean, it's an 1850s porch.
And you anticipate painting the shingles?
Shingles will be blue. The rail, the handrail will be white all the way around. The post itself will be white, and the trim elements on the post will be blue.
Mhm.
And that's what the original was, kind of just trying to keep it up with that, 3-color Victorian paint job
Mhm.
type thing.
One thing you can do that we have done successfully to make it look a little closer to what it was before was just to take a router and either round the edges or scallop.
I will be glad to use the edge. If you look at the detail on the rail, on the handrail, the 2x12 handrail, I've done
Yep.
that all the way around and matched that. I'll be glad to do that. No problem at all. I'll have to do it after I add the trim pieces because it won't flush out if I round it and then do the trim pieces, but I'll do the trim pieces and ease the edges all the way around. I'll make it as round as I can.
Well, you don't have to cut too far in.
Yeah.
But if it just take, about 1/2 to 3/4 on either side. And again, it can either round it off or you can cove it.
I got a 3/4 inch quarter round router bit that'll run right up that and just put a nice rounded edge on it. That'll be, yeah.
It'll also, if you do some of the trim detailing rounded, it looks continuous rather than the edge.
Yeah, if you look at the handrail, that's what I did. There's a continuous eased edge all the way around
Yes.
on the handrail, and I'll be glad to do that on the posts. It's my house, so I'm gonna make it look really nice. I like to do myself.
Is there any reason when you replaced the shingles on the front that you didn't do them staggered to match the original?
No, they didn't have them at Sticks and Stuff.
That's not a matter of having them. It's a matter of the carpenter just nailing them on there that way.
No, I didn't do that. I'm the carpenter, so I did not do it that way. Would you like me to redo the shingles?
Probably because they match that, then they would match those up in the gable end, which are staggered. And that's the way it was designed. What kind of condition are the turn posts you took off in?
They are not in good condition. And they are not original either. They do appear to be from the 1970s. They are a hollow fabricated post, and the bottoms of all of them are rotted out.
The those turn posts are pretty readily available. I think Miles has them. I don't know about sticks and stuff. But did you look and see if you could find turn posts?
Yeah, but like I said, I couldn't get a well, so first of all, it's a considerable amount more money. And second of all, they did not have a post that would go from the deck to the roof. And I did not want to set a post on top of a railing again and have it, I mean, literally, like when I braced the roof up and I put my foot on the railing, it fell down. So I was within a good storm of losing the roof. And it's just not a good construction technique. Those square posts are framed into the deck and framed into the railing. They're not going anywhere. They'll be there for 200 years.
A decent timber framer or carpenter could splice the extensions on the bottom of posts. It's not a difficult joint to make. You could make a lap joint and reinforce it. Well, there's a number of different joints you can do.
So I do timber framing. I'm quite good at it. And I would agree with that, except why not just use a square post? It's 100% stronger and cheaper and less time consuming.
I think there's plenty of examples of turn posts and on porches that are buckling, you know, and so I don't know if we necessarily need to ask for a structural flaw to be redone.
There are a lot of porches with posts balancing on railings.
And a lot of them if you're effectively putting a hinge
Yeah.
in there rather than a fixed joint.
I'm just having a problem because the turn posts are really a distinctive feature in the building. It's pretty easy to see in the as built or the original photographs.
Okay, I mean, I would like to see the original photographs because, like I said, that porch was built in 1971. So I don't know. The last time I was here at design review, we ran up into the same problem because I wanted to replace windows on the barbershop building with energy efficient windows. And I was told that I could not replace those windows. I had to have them rebuilt because they were original. And when I did the demo and tore into the windows were from 1975 and they were single pane and they weren't in good shape. So, I don't want to get testy about it, but I try really, really hard to put these. Let me put it this way. When I bought these two buildings, they were not anywhere near original condition. They did not look like they were from 1850. That house that I bought from Jimmy was wrapped in fake red brick tar paper. I pulled all that tar paper off. I put it back to the original siding and I've rebuilt that porch so it matches the house. I did the best I could with what I had. I've tried to keep, I'm a labor force of one. I've got multiple projects I have to do. I can't spend, an entire year rebuilding a front porch. And yet I tried very hard to put it back to what it was originally. I think I did a good job. The neighbors think I did a good job.
You understand the difficulty it makes for design review when we're reviewing something that's already been done.
Get it? Didn't mean to do that. I really didn't. I've gone through the design review process several times. I pulled permits. I apologize for that. I really do. The flood took out the two uphill posts. I was going to lose the roof. I had to get the porch shored up. That's what I did. City Hall was shut down. I just went ahead. I pushed ahead. There's a lot of examples of my work on those two buildings, and I want those houses to look like they're from 1850. That's what I want.
I suspect the staggered shingles were added long after that, but they're part of the historic character of the house. Are you willing to redo the shingles on the front and staggered?
No.
Do you have any of the old pictures of the house?
I have an
Original
original
pictures?
picture of the porch, I think, on there. I don't have a historic picture of that house, of the front of it. I have a historic picture of the roof line. I think it's looking from the top of the hill,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the only one I have.
I suspect those shingles were originally staggered in the gable end sometime in the 20s. And then whoever rebuilt the porch in 71 rematched them again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you know, yeah, I like the staggered shingles. I didn't really think about it. I mean, it was November 15th and it was getting quite cold, so I did try to button it up for the winter.
Yeah, I'll just say that I'm personally less concerned about the staggered shingles. I know that it's an historic mark, but it looks like it from the photos. I haven't been by it. It looks like it's nice quality shingle work. It's of a similar scale and texture. And then you do have some of that up on the gable. I think I understand that that round, like I wouldn't want to put a round post on a railing in my own house, just because that I know it's going to move. And at some point, I think the concern for me is that a lot of these posts are like the color, the paint, and the photo's not clear enough for me to see here, but a lot of the paint comes out where the wood's taken away. So it's kind of where it gets smaller, and
Yeah.
your detail is actually kind of pushing it out and making it.
Well, I gave Meredith
chunkier.
so I have a detail of how the post is gonna look.
Right. It's in the packet. Yeah.
Right, so it will be, I mean, it's not gonna be as tapered in the center in between those, but it is gonna go wide. You know, wide, skinny, wide, skinny.
Yeah.
wide.
One thing that's, just one option might be to take a kind of a thin piece of trim and just mark the top and the bottom of where that color changes, so it doesn't become kind of, it's going from being where it's blue skinnier to where it's blue it's like big.
Well, but the only thing that's gonna get painted blue is the actual trim pieces.
Right. And
So there is a delineation line where it will end and become white.
sure, but you're kind of inverting the previous
Oh,
way it was.
so I didn't see the pattern on the old one. You want me to paint it white, blue?
No, in the sense that if you look at the original photo where and actually you can see that it appears to be square at the top and,
Oh, yeah,
and square at the bottom,
right.
right? So there's some precedent for a square thing, but it comes down square, and then you have some obviously a lathe that's been used to take material away from that. So where it's become where it's white, it's the thicker part, and where it's carved away, it's blue, right? So where it goes from thick white to skinny blue.
It's kind of hard to see, but I pulled it up. On the
Oh,
page.
there it is.
Right,
Okay,
the
yeah,
skinnier part here, right, and here where it's skinny and rounded
Yeah, so
is dark, and then
I mean,
here,
I'm
those
gonna
different-
router it up. So I didn't really think of it. Meredith caught me by surprise. I need a square piece so that I can get the little braces on. So I'm kind of set on that on the top. Like I need to have this. I need to have that. So it either needs to go on the bare post. If you want me to just forego this upper trim piece and just put this 40 the trim element on straight onto the post and then come down. I mean, I can run multiple chair rails. I can run two small bands of chair rails and then a larger band of chair rails. It won't be a turn post, but it will match that paint job exactly.
What if you rounded the edges enough to give somewhat of an appearance of a rounded post? And you would just be, you would leave the top and the bottom basically square. Maybe take a slight edge off, but then take more edge off here and then just paint that to match.
Paint it to match. Yeah,
Cause you still have the old,
yeah, I got the
Posts
post
still.
sitting,
so
yeah,
you'll be able, you
Yeah.
could even put them up next to it to get
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the right same general
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah.
So you leave the top and the bottom
Square
square, but
and then
just
taper it in and
just
go up.
take the sharp edge off
Yeah,
and then take more off in the center section where the original post was rounded.
Well,
was
that-
turned.
3/4 inch, you look at the pictures on the, it'll be rounded.
Of the chair rail,
Yeah, it'll be rounded significantly,
should be near the end.
yeah,
Try to do the finish work, the detail work near the end of the packet.
there it is. It's quite a, there I have one, see? And I did that where it's
Yep.
all a continuous rounded edge. And I can
Okay.
even go one larger than that.
Yeah.
And so
Does
square at the
that's
bottom, square at the
bottom
top.
and the top. And again, come as close as you can to match the profile of the original post.
Yeah,
You can use the original post as a template. You just set it beside it to mark it.
I will come as close to the original post as I can.
I'm gonna suggest a simpler solution, I guess, because I don't think this adding pieces it is gonna work out real well, but I would just say do a significant chamfer, leaving some square space up at the top for your bracket and some at the bottom, and do a pretty severe chamfer on the corner, not round it, but just make a chamfer with a nice taper into the square.
Okay.
Just an honest, straightforward
Rather,
do it.
rather than add trim, again, you can just paint the stripe around to match what was on the original post. So from many angles, it will appear to be as close as you could get to what you had.
All right. Okay, I can match the paint job on the original post.
And you're firm in not redoing the shingles staggered.
I won't have time. I just won't have time.
How about planting some tall shrubs?
So the garden's coming back. There's a huge perennial garden there that comes up every year. So, and it was completely redone and replanted and mulched to go with the new porch, and the planter boxes are back in. Most of that's gonna be completely covered. I have, what do I have there?
I understand your desire, but that seems like an easy thing to fix, relatively easy. Post, I know, would be hard to fix, but fixing the staggered shingles is not a terribly difficult task.
Any suggestions from anyone else about the shingles?
I don't have any objections to the shingles as they are.
I would leave them as they are and put planter boxes and some shrubs out in front of that.
There's two planter boxes already there in the things and two large planters on either side of the stairs, and there's and like I said, there is a well-established perennial garden that comes up easily to the height of the chair rail.
I'm okay with, I mean, if he's got shrubbery that's between planter boxes and shrubbery that's hiding 80% of it, I'm fine with it the way it is. Leaving the shingles the way they are.
I don't feel as
I mean,
strongly about it as Eric does.
It would have been nice to stagger it, but at this point, if he's got gardens in front of that height, it's most of it, you're not going to notice the difference.
I really appreciate your recognizing that it's difficult for us when someone has already completed the job and then we are asked to approve or not approve.
This is my third time through, and I sincerely apologize. I am a firm believer in the design review process, and I'm a firm believer in city planning.
Unfortunately, it's happening more and more.
Yeah, and I did, and it, in my own defense, it doesn't happen with me. It did this time. It was a bit of a crazy summer, as you know. And, I just, yeah, but, the building department was closed. I understand it relocated fairly quickly, but I didn't know that. I was not aware of that. All I knew was City Hall.
Hardest part is that your house is listed on the National Register of Historic Places as contributing. So it sort of nails a special sign on your building that you should try to preserve it as much as you can if you're doing repairs or replacing components.
So in my defense, I would say pulling the fake red brick siding off it was a good thing.
No, that was a good start.
Okay. We're better off than we were. You couldn't see those staggered shingles before. They were wrapped in siding. So the whole house was wrapped in siding.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was.
well, I try hard. I try hard to put it back to what it was.
Well, but again, between the flower boxes, if you, again, rounding the post as much as possible in the center, or leaving it square at the top and the bottom and rounding it as much as possible, and then painting that to recreate the pattern that you had before.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, the goal, and I talked with Meredith about this briefly too, the goal is also to have things net zero.
Yeah.
And so for me, and it doesn't apply to this porch, but for me, it's always my goal is really, I like old school carpentry and I like old houses. So my goal is to put it back to what it was. And yet we do have modern things that we have to do. There's better framing techniques. There's better support techniques. There's better insulation. There's better windows. There's things that kind of have to change. That's why I do like coming here. The shingles are a foolish oversight. If I'd come here first, if we hadn't had the flood this summer, it was going to be a fall project. And I was, I would have just gotten on design review and done it. And you would have said staggered shingles and I would have said fine. But
So do the best you can to cover it with landscaping.
I have extra B-bomb going in there this summer.
And if you need new shingles later.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
I think we made the point. Yes.
The shingles take the brunt of the weather.
One thing you could do to simulate that, and I'm not a fan of painting something to look like it was old necessarily, but you could, and it's a detail you will see in a number of places. You can take a darker shade of blue.
So
underneath
if you look at the gables shingles, they're a little faded now, but that is a Sherwin-Williams Batik blue on the body of it. And then I picked all of the other blues in the color on that color wheel. And I painted the upper gable end goes from the next blue up to the lightest blue. And I'd be more than willing to do that on the porch to make it match the upper gable, no problem at all.
And even if you skipped every other shade.
Yeah, it's every couple of shingles gets a different color blue. And I like it. I really like the effect on the top. It's faded. It's hard to notice. If you stand in front of the house and look up, you'll notice it. It is 5 different blue colors on the upper gable staggered end. So, and I'm more than willing to do that on the bottom. Yeah.
It kind of shows.
Yeah,
Between here, I think maybe people
Yeah.
watching on the.
You can see it's almost white in that little triangle up above the window, and it's a darker blue on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm more than willing to do that. I can probably only do 3 on the porch instead of 5, but I can do, yeah, I'll do.
In my opinion, since the shingles are not going to match the top gable, I would rather see it the same color as the body
Like
of
a
the house.
body color, yeah.
Just let it blend as much as it can.
That was that's why I didn't really think about it. I was gonna wrap those shingles in color wise right into the main body of the house. But
That'd be my preference.
I think the darker color anchors the building better.
I do too, yeah.
Than a lighter color.
Yeah.
Again, just go with the landscape it as much as you can to.
Dark blue and landscaping. That's what I mean, that's what it was. I like the dark blue on the bottom. Yeah.
Are you going to put any railings on the stairs?
There's a metal railing. I got a call back from the metal fab guy. There's 2 metal railings going on the bottom. They're very simple. I can email you a picture off the guy's website. It's tentative. None of it's planned yet.
Okay.
It's a metal railing that anchors at the bottom and anchors to the main post. And it's just a, rectangular metal. It's a 3x1 metal railing. It's very simple. It's very plain, and it's going to be powder coated white. So
It's going to be what?
powder coated white.
If you guys can give thoughts on that, if you have any comments on the railing, because technically the railing would
Right.
come back to design review otherwise. But because we'll also have to have, Michelle look at that for building code. 'Cause
Okay.
it wasn't in this packet, but we can. add-
Well, that's why I went with the metal railing, because I can bolt it on, and it's better in my opinion than a wood railing, which is going to fall apart over time. But I'm more than willing to put a wood railing on too. It's much cheaper for me to build a wood railing than it is to.
If you've got dark blue, I don't know if you want to think of the railing as trim, but just a black.
Black, yeah,
That would be my
It was-
thought,
okay.
too.
all right.
So something that disappears visually. Yeah, I mean, I would be more interested in the like the connections, the details of that than the railing itself.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a rounded plate that bolts to the square post and to the step.
A white railing on East State Street quickly becomes a gray railing. So
Black it
if you
is.
start with black.
I think those were the options he had. He had
Yeah.
black or white. So he had what it was like oil. It looks like oiled bronze.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's actually a perfect combination.
okay. Yeah. I liked it. It didn't have any real design element to it. It's a very simple railing. It almost disappears.
Yeah, so it'll be up to the committee to decide whether or not they want to put in an option for that tonight, or if they want Paul to come back when he has the.
We could just
that.
do an option for a simple black iron railing.
Black iron railing.
And again, just check with the building inspector to make sure that it meets whatever
Right.
codes there are.
Yeah, I don't want anybody falling through a railing, believe me.
Okay, and we can do the black iron railing as an option, black iron or dark bronze railing as an option
Okay.
that you can add. I can go through the criteria for all projects. Exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. The removal of historic materials or alteration of features and spaces that characterize historic property shall be avoided. Character defining features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize an historic building shall be preserved. Deteriorated character defining features shall be repaired if they can, rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a character defining feature, the new feature shall be replaced in kind. Any treatments that cause damage to historic materials, including but not limited to chemical or physical treatments such as sandblasting, shall not be approved. And again, this is acceptable with your treatment of the posts as you described. And also, again, we'll suggest plantings that cover as much as possible of the shingles to avoid trying to replace those with staggered shingles. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, architectural features, detailing, and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historic properties. Acceptable. Architectural features, including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character-defining detailing prevailing on the existing building shall be considered in the alteration of a building. Architectural features on any addition shall not duplicate but shall respect. This is not an addition. The replacement of a porch, that's acceptable. Outdoor lighting fixtures. Is there any lighting added or is there something that's already there?
There was lighting on the front porch, and what was added was, can lighting that goes around the outside.
A recessed can?
They are,
Okay.
The
May I
outs-
ask a question?
on
The
the
ceiling
ceiling of the porch.
Okay,
of the porch. So it doesn't show from the outside. It
No.
just, there's a down light that,
no, but you're not lighting outside of the porch.
And there's two step lights that light up automatically when you approach the steps at night, only at night. So,
I saw that.
yeah.
Rebecca, I think, had a question. Rebecca, what did you want?
Yeah, I do. And actually it is specifically about the step lights, and I understand how they ended up white. If you were going to go with a white railing, and I don't know if it's possible or not, but I was thinking that if the railings go dark, the step lights really jump out to me as white.
Okay. That's an easy switch. I can use.
Yeah. Like
And they
maybe,
do come in a black cover plate. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think in my head they would look great matching whatever the railing ends up.
So that's on the screen. That's these right here.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, step lights are great. I use them all over.
are they wired or solar?
They're wired. So they're what the electric that I had two 20-amp circuits on a new, Middlesex Electric, I think it was, came in, or the guy who left from Middlesex Electric. Anyway, it was a while back. He came in and put in a new 200-amp panel in the house, and brought it kind of up to modern standards. Those were two existing circuits that were replaced on the old SAM. There's two 20-amp circuits. One was driving the existing external plugs, and one was driving the existing lighting. And that has, and I did extend the lighting from the center light out into the can lighting. But that's it. And then the step lights are running off that last plug, the last exterior plug. They're hardwired in because they have a solar switch. They only come on at night. They only activate at night. They have a motion and solar. So when the sun goes down, if you approach them, they'll come
Yeah.
in.
Is that a down light?
It's a down light.
So
Yeah, it does not glare out in your
So
face at all. It puts a nice.
The face of it, if the face of it isn't part of the light itself, I mean, it's just a shield.
It's a cover plate. Yeah.
You could either paint that to match your risers, depending on what you're gonna do with the risers on the stairs. Were you gonna paint those or?
I don't. So those are stained. That's stained.
Oh, okay.
It's treated with stain. And I don't. The honest truth is, the stairs were the things that fell apart first,
Yes.
and it's not tall enough for a stair riser. So when I bought the house, I don't know what they were for, but they're these big, beautiful 4-inch thick pieces of granite. So I dug out around it underneath, and I put two granite slabs underneath there. So those steps aren't technically sitting in the dirt, but I built 2 by 12 boxes Those things are very, very sturdy and they have 2x12 treads on top. But eventually they're going to rot out like every other pair of stairs rot out there, and they're easily replaceable. Like I can just swap them out. So I didn't know. They are unfinished right now. They could be painted. I don't think the paint would hold up well to them. They have an exterior stain, that I've used in the past that works really well for preserving the wood. And it's a natural, it's like a oak stain. It's kind of a gold, light gold, but it fades to a natural wood color.
How tall are the stairs?
The stairs are code, so they're 11 inches for each step. That was the hard thing because they weren't code
The,
before.
the tread's 11. How high are the risers? How high are the stairs?
The stair itself is 11 inches up to that first step, and then 11, and then 6 to the top.
Before you do too much more work on it, check with the building inspector.
Yeah, they're better than the steps that were there before.
I'm just talking about the height of them.
Yeah, so
Usually the code is 7'11".
yeah, 7 in and 11 up.
Other way,
7 up and
7
11
up
in,
and
yeah.
11
Yeah.
deep. And again, if you were to change I mean, you can certainly, that's an option as well, change the covers, either paint them or put black covers on black or dark.
They come
box.
in a dark brown, oiled bronze type look.
Okay.
So I'll just swap them out when I put the railing up.
So the outdoor lighting fixtures, structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures shall be compatible with the architectural design and function of the building and compatible with the neighborhood. Acceptable. And lastly, porches and stairs on historic structures. The location of porches, ramps, and stairs shall be placed in a manner that does not impact or undermine the original and significant ornamentation or detailing of the existing building. Stairs, ramps, and porches shall employ suitable detailing to connect and be compatible with the historic and important design features of existing buildings and new construction. Stairs and ramps shall be designed in a manner with details and materials that provide the most sensitive and compatible structure that fits the building design and layout. And again, with the modifications that you had agreed to, that would be acceptable.
And those stairs are, the original stairs lined up exactly with the front door, and those are in the same location.
So for Eric and Rebecca, who aren't here in the room, Steve's filling out the recommendations and optional changes section on the form.
Thank you.
We have a few tonight, so it'll be a few minutes.
My postman, who uses those stairs more than anybody, approves of the stairs. He thanked me for them.
Has Michelle been over yet to take a look at things? I know she looked through all the photos, but Michelle Sabry, our building
No.
inspector. Okay.
No.
I think she wanted to see what
Get a
design review, if they had anything to say. But I'll be seeing her tomorrow, so I'll let her know how tonight went, and then she should be in touch to set up a meeting to come over, and I'll let her know about the railing too.
Okay.
So I made several comments. One was the structural posts on the front porch will be modified to closely represent the original turn post as much as possible, and painted to also match as much as possible the original paint patterns, as much as you can determine. It said landscaping and flower boxes applied to the face of the front porch are suggested as an alternative to replacing the shingles and staggered pattern. And then I wrote that the applicant has the option to install black or dark bronze simple metal railings for the front stairs, which meet code requirements. Anything, other suggestions to add or?
Do you want to add, changing the plates on those lights?
Sure.
It's a small matter, but it's a matter.
Thanks for catching this, Martha.
I just said that the stair light plates will be either a black or a dark bronze color.
Okay.
And based on those, does anybody have anything else we should add?
Sounds comprehensive.
I'm sorry?
Sounds comprehensive.
Okay, sounds good. All in favor of the application with those modifications, speak your names.
William.
Martha, I'm in favor with the modifications, but I also have a personal preference that the porch shingles be painted to match the body of the house, to make it blend as much as possible.
I agree 100%.
I think that was the proposal.
That was in the proposal, so that's fine.
That was the original proposal.
And I vote in favor as well.
I'm voting no, based on the staggered shingles on the front. Cover them up with bushes doesn't do any good. I think the treatment on the post should also be simpler.
And then we have Rebecca.
Let me just be clear on the post, because I thought we were going with that simpler. So square at the top and the bottom
Yes.
to accept the fleur-de-lis detail at the top, and then a nice chamfer in the middle.
You can chamfer in the middle.
Right.
And then by the time you paint the stripes around,
Right,
you'll come as close as possible
to what that original.
representing the original post.
Yeah.
So Eric, did you hear that? That
Yeah.
Paul is
Yeah.
going to go with your
That's good.
suggestion.
That's good. I'm still gonna vote no because of the staggered shingles.
Okay.
And then Rebecca, your vote?
I'm gonna vote yes, I'm in favor with changes.
So the
Thank
vote
you.
is 4-1 in favor.
So that's a ultimate yes. Because you just need 3 yeses.
And he can sign.
So if
There.
you can sign, if you're good with these recommendations, you can sign at the applicant part. Your signature. And then, what I'll do is I'll coordinate with Michelle tomorrow so that she can meet with you and we can get one packet for you with the zoning permit and the building permit.
Okay.
And then she'll probably, hash out some code details on the railing with you, but we'll get that out.
There 90% of the time. I have to pop up to Burlington tomorrow in the middle of the day, but besides that, I'll
Yep, well, and I have your phone number
give
now,
my phone.
so we'll be in touch.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find over there.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very
Paul.
much.
Thanks for coming and good luck with your finishing.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Goodbye. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from February the 5th?
We have,
Yes,
and I'll make a motion to accept them the way they are.
I'll second that.
All in favor of approving the minutes, speak your names.
Martha,
William?
Steve?
Rebecca?
Eric
Did it-
wasn't there, so
Oh,
he can
okay.
abstain if he wants. It's not a problem.
Okay. So minutes are approved.
Awesome.
Does anyone else have any other business?
I just have one little
Meredith
reminder because I didn't send out another email about it. The second hearing on zoning regulation changes is going to be next week on the 28th before city council. There were no major changes made or suggested at the hearing on the 14th. There were some little tweaks. But the big one that design review might care about, even though these don't come before them, is the demolition provision, just because that does have to do and changes some of the process for demolition of historic buildings in the city. So it's worth to just take a look and see what's going on there. But the design review provision doesn't have any major changes in it at all. So the regulations that you guys actually apply aren't proposed to change, except, those don't apply, but keep a note that you may be seeing bigger projects, because they're going to get rid of residential density restrictions in the design review district if it goes forward as proposed.
thank you for the heads up.
So there might be a lot more development in downtown if that goes away.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor of adjournment, speak your names.
Martha,
William?
Stephen,
Rebecca?
meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.